Hello everyone, I'm in the bathroom. As you can see, I'm currently sitting at the toilet right now. My internet was acting slow and this is the only decent spot that I could find where the signal is kind of good. But anyways, please don't mind my voice. I'm kind of sick right now, but I just want to get this video out before mid-August because I'm going to be so busy. I wrote this script for this video while I'm super sleep deprived, so it's just a cute little fun thing. It's nothing serious, but I hope you guys would still enjoy it.
Sakusa doesn't mean to pick up a stray on the way back from a quick walk during training camp. He's not feeling a 100% and almost trips over the poor orange cat with cute white accents on his tail. Its brown eyes were hooded and it's staring at him. Call Sakusa weird, but it feels like the cat is staring right into his soul. Are you lost? The cat whined at him loudly, swatting at his shoes even as he turns to keep going. Eventually, Sakusa gives up on ignoring the clingy thing and hesitantly picks it up. It's friendlier than he anticipated, expecting to be clawed or bitten by the stray. What do you want? You're persistent. Sakusa frowned as the cat continued to meow loudly like he could understand it. He looked up at the rumbling thunder cloud above his brows, furrowed ever so slightly. It's going to be cold tonight. Maybe I should ask the instructors if you can stay with me just for the night. The cat meowed and nodded its agreement. Sakusa raised his eyebrow at the fluffy thing. You're strange for a cat. Not that I would know. I didn't have pets as a kid. Sakusa wondered if it was weird to talk to the animal. Did it understand him? It seemed to. Sakusa rose the cat tire in front of his face. Ah, you're a boy. The cat yelled and hissed, kicking up a fuss until Sakusa tucked him into his chest. Stop it or I'm ditching the warm bath and give you a cold shower instead. The cat gave a huff. I'd give you a name, but I'm not good with them. Sakusa nails scratched lightly at the top of his head. The cat purred loudly, eyes falling shut. They should have some leftover food to spare back at the camp. Sakusa held him close to his chest as he made his way inside the school, narrowly avoiding people. He didn't have the energy for questions about why is he bringing back a cat all of a sudden. He knocked on instructor's door, waiting politely. The older man pulled the door open with a phone to his ear. I asked his roommates if they've seen him. I assure you, ma'am, that I will make sure he gets back safe. Yes, goodbye. The coach ended the call with a huff. Sakusa-kun, he greeted, his eyes falling to the mess of fur in his arms. And cat. I saw him outside. He's friendly. I wanted to ask if he could stay with me throughout the storm tonight. The storm? The coach frowned thoughtfully, eyes narrowing. I guess that's fine. Never would have expected someone like you to. Sakusa worked a brow. Right. The instructor gave up on the topic though. He tapped the doorframe, seemingly impatient. Sakusa-kun, did you happen to pass by Miya Atsumu on your way back? Miya? No, how come? Sakusa frowned. Did something happen? His mother called because he didn't send them the usual message that he arrived here safely. Sakusa unconsciously sighed in partial relief. He thought it was something more serious. It's just Miya Atsumu being a klutz. The blonde man probably headed straight towards the gym the moment he stepped foot on camp and blocked out everyone else. He's probably in the gym, playing around and lost track of time. The cat wriggled frantically in Sakusa's arm. Hey, calm down. What has gotten into you? The cat meowed and batted at the coach. The man blinked, looking down at the claw snagged in his sleeve. Friendly, huh? Maybe he doesn't like you. I see. The coach smiled politely. Sakusa could see the sweat drop on his forehead. I'll get you the food. The coach shuffled away after awkwardly unhooking the claw from his shirt. When he left, Sakusa looked down at the stray. Why did you do that? That was rude of you. The cat mewed softly with flat ears and Sakusa can't help but give it a scratch. Don't use cuteness to get away with it. You act just like someone I know. Sakusa looked back up at the instructor as he offered the cat food. Sakusa took it carefully as not to drop him. You should give him a name for convenience. I'm not good with names. Sakusa deadpanned and leaned his weight on one foot. Why is this guy so invested in the cat? Sakusa didn't take him for a cat lover. May I hold him? Sakusa blinked in surprise and nodded, offering him over. The cat wriggled in the coach's arms, batting at his hair in frustration. He has a small tuft on his head swept to the side. Is that a bad thing? No, it reminds me of someone though. Who? Atsumu. The eyes even look just like him. The cat yelled and smacked the coach's chest a few times, enough to make Sakusa intervene and reach for him. The coach handed him back without a word. He seemed in a better mood now though. Atsumu has a nice name. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if you named the cat after him for the night. I'm not naming this cat after Miya. The coach bent down to look the cat in the eye. I expect you back by the morning, Atsumu. Sakusa furrowed his brows in distaste. He wasn't used to the coach cracking jokes and he was definitely weirded out by it, although the cat nodded and meowed as if he understood, and the instructor nodded, stepping back into his room. Do take care of him, Sakusa-kun. Sakusa wordlessly tilted his head in thanks as the coach closed the door behind him. Sakusa looked down at the cat and grunted. I hate the fact that you really do look like him. You must be hungry, let's eat. Sakusa dropped the cat off at his dorm and made himself some food. He felt like he deserved something nice after today. Sakusa also made sure to pinch the bowl for the cat's wet food while he was at it. Sakusa-san. Sakusa tensed in surprise at the loud voice. It was Kojima. Kojima? Sakusa could feel a headache coming on and couldn't tell if it was from painful confusion or the energy being sucked out of his soul by Kojima's presence. What do you need? Oh, right. Kojima stiffened. His straight posture got even straighter, if that's possible. Sorry, I just wanted to ask if you had seen Atsumu-san around. We were gonna train together tonight but I can't find him anywhere. Kojima seemed disheartened and Sakusa felt his stomach twist. Sakusa's eyebrows slightly shot up in surprise, because if Atsumu is nowhere to be found at this time, then where has he gone to? I haven't seen him. Should he tell Kojima that Atsumu might be missing? He didn't want to make him worry needlessly. If the coach had already found him, the coach would tell the others if it was serious. I'm hungry, I'll see you later. Sakusa excused himself and Kojima gaped at him, hesitantly uttering words of protest, but Sakusa didn't pay him any mind. Kojima sighed loudly and Sakusa ignored him in favor of getting back to the cat. He hoped the real Atsumu was okay. What if he had been kidnapped? What if he got lost? What if he tripped and fell on his head on a rock? You can just never know with Atsumu. Sakusa sighed as he entered his room, the cat greeting him with a meow. He knelt down at his table and gave him some pets. Miya didn't show his face to me all day and now he has the guts to go off the radar. How dare he? Sakusa buried his face in the soft fur of his new friend. The human Miya. He clarified for the cat needlessly. The cat meowed his condolences. He felt the cat rub his face into his cheek and couldn't help but clear his head a bit. It was comforting. Maybe he should invest in a pet of his own. Sakusa pulled away, grabbing the bowl and pouring the canned meat into it for him. The cat pounced onto the table and stared into the bowl. He looked back up at Sakusa and Sakusa picked up his chopsticks. He pressed his hands together and bowed his head to the cat. Itadakimsu. Sakusa muttered quietly with a hint of mirth, knowing it was silly to say it to a cat who couldn't say it back regardless. He dug into his food. A few moments later, he felt a paw on his head. He made an inquiring nose and the cat meowed. Sakusa chewed and swallowed, tilting his head in question. What is it? The cat looked at his dish and turned his nose up at it. You don't like it? But it's for cats. Sakusa picked up the bowl and sniffed it. He wouldn't eat it personally, but it smelled fine. It wasn't expired. Maybe you're allergic? Sakusa suggested out loud. You must be a really smart cat to know that though. He frowned. The cat shoved the bowl away with a paw. Sakusa looked down at his own meal and picked up a piece of it. Surely you can eat meat? He wondered. Brows furrowed. The cat purred and Sakusa figured that would have to be good enough for now. He broke the meat into small pieces so the cat wouldn't choke and left them on the table for him to lick up. Sakusa huffed in accomplishment as he continued his own meal, offering a few new more pieces every time the cat finished the last. The orange cat flopped onto his back with a stretch and meow once they were done. "You're happy, yes?" he purred, and Sakusa nodded. "You better be. You almost finished up my dinner." Sakusa cleanly stacked the dishes aside, too lazy to take them to a sink. Right then and there he turned off his main light and turned on his lamp. Instead he preferred the serene vibe in the evening. He made himself comfy on his bed, but his stomach swirled with worry once more. The cat jumped onto the bed and nudged his arm with his head. Looking up at him, he ran a hand through his fur. "I'm just worried," he admitted reluctantly. "That blonde jerk is such a dumbass." Sakusa pulled the cat into his lap, finding comfort in giving the feline affection. Sakusa didn't find it easy to speak about his feelings with others. He found it hard to explain. It felt nice to talk to the cat though. "There's a storm tonight. 𝒔𝒂𝒕𝒔𝒖 always gets nervous when it thunders, I think. At least, that's what I'm assuming, since he always bothers me when it rains." Sakusa grumbled to himself and curled around the cat, nose buried in the fluff. He smells faintly of soap and rain. Thunder boomed from outside and Sakusa and the cat both jumped. The cat's claws sunk into his hoodie sleeve and Sakusa winced as they grazed his skin, pulling his arm gently. "You're scared of thunder too, huh?" He ran a soothing hand along the cat's back. The cat meowed pitifully. "I'm glad I brought you inside then." Sakusa lay down against his pillow, moving the cat into the crook of his arm. The emotional exhaustion of the day was catching up with him. "You two really act and look similar. What a curious thing." He yawned softly, fingers running through soft orange fur. The cat curled into his chest, as if agreeing with him. Sakusa scrunched his face as the cat's fur tickles his nose. Another ripple of thunder invaded the room and the cat tucked his tail in close, eyes closed. His claws kneaded gently against his hoodie, careful not to nick him again. Sakusa found he didn't mind too much. Sakusa's eyes kept falling shut as he continued to smooth the cat's fur. He felt content and warm with the cat. Was this there are people who had so many? It made sense. The thunder outside faded out as he drifted off, fingers curling loosely into the cat's fur. He could faintly acknowledge the slow, deep breaths coming from him. Fast asleep, Sakusa smiled in his rest, chin tucked atop the cat's head. Maybe the exhausting day hadn't been for nothing. Sakusa could hear the rain pattering against his window as the dimly lit room came back into focus. He felt groggy, fighting the urge to slip back into his deep slumber. Only because he was now aware of the extra occupation beside him, keeping him so warm and sleepy. "Me, yeah?" Sakusa mumbled, rubbing his eyes as he sat up. A familiar tan forearm slipped down from his waist to his lap as he did, the messy blonde dyed hair giving away the man's identity. Sakusa's first feeling was relief. He was glad that Atsumu was alright, and unharmed. The second was confusion about how Atsumu got into his room. Reaching down gingerly, Sakusa pushed Atsumu's bangs aside to get a better look at him. "Miaya?" The blonde furrowed his brows in his sleep, making a soft noise of protest. Sakusa's stomach flipped when he pressed his head to his hip, holding him tighter. He held his breath, suddenly nervous. Atsumu often made him nervous, but he didn't fear the boy. In fact, he was quite happy in his vicinity. "Miaya, wake up." Sakusa's eyes widened when something smacked the bed, eyes drawn to a silky orange tail. "What?" Sakusa reached out for the barely swaying appendage, touching the familiar fur. It flicked out of his grasp and Atsumu made a noise of confusion. "Where?" Atsumu blinked blearily up at Sakusa and tensed. "Me? Me, are you a cat?" Sakusa queried curiously. "A cat?" Atsumu let go of Sakusa's quickly, sitting up beside the boy. He winced as he crushed his own tail, pulling it out from under himself. Looking closer, Sakusa could see fluffy orange ears sticking out of his hair and claw, like nails. Atsumu blinked at him with slitted pupils. I'm not usually a cat," Atsumu finally said, looking down at his own hands, two small fangs poking at his lower lips as he spoke. "But sometimes you are." Sakusa tilted his head. "Am I going insane?" No, this is the only time I've been a cat, promise." Atsumu laughed nervously. I don't really know why the hell this happened to me. Atsumu rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly, cheeks growing red under the orange glow of his bedside lamp. So, you like cats? Atsumu eventually spoke into the silence, and Sakusa felt his own embarrassment color his face. He wasn't a pretty blusher, turning his face away. They are okay. Do you remember everything? From when you were a cat? Yeah. Oh. You don't got to be embarrassed, Omi. I think it's cute that you care so much. Atsumu tried to reassure the boy. Sakusa bit his lower lip, feeling a little too exposed. He knew he wasn't any good at showing his emotions. He had grown up in an environment where it just wasn't done. It felt strange knowing someone had seen him without even a chip of the mask. After all, a cat was more vulnerable than himself. He was the one who had to take care of it. He didn't need a mask for a cat. But the cat had been Atsumu, someone who chipped away at the mask slowly without even trying. Omi? Atsumu laid a gentle hand on his shoulder and Sakusa cleared his throat. I'm sorry, I feel a little complicated right now, was the best he could come up with to ease Atsumu's concerned expression. I tried to tell you who I was, but it was a little hard. I figured this magic, or whatever the hell this is, would wear off in time, or I'd just find the coach, since he obviously realized what was going on. He did? Sakusa blinked in surprise. He named me, Omi. He knew. Atsumu deadpan. Sakusa formed an O with his lips as it clicked. He should have realized sooner. Sakusa noticed the coach was acting a bit weird. Hell, this whole situation is weird anyway, so he chose not to comment on it any further. But it is wearing off, yes. Sakusa gestured to his feline attributes. Yeah, seems so. I'm just glad my clothes shifted with me. Atsumu laughed with a blush that would have been embarrassing. Sakusa considered the thought and found his cheeks burning at the idea of tall and handsome Atsumu naked in his bed with his sharp claws and white fangs, the tail and pointed ears. He shook the thought away. He shouldn't think such things about me, Atsumu. Yes, it would have been. Sakusa pressed a cold hand to his cheek to cool his flush. Huh? No way, were you thinking something dirty, Omi? No, it's just warm in here. Sakusa fought to pout. It was Atsumu's fault for putting that thought in his head in the first place. Okay, I'll believe you this time. Sakusa glared at him. How long until you change back anyway? I don't know, could be a few hours or could be longer. But I totally missed practice. Atsumu thoughtfully said, realized with a sigh. I hope Tobio-kun doesn't get all fussy. I'm sure he'll understand. Sakusa reassured, an underlying huff in his posture, and Sakusa found himself gritting his teeth subconsciously. You hang out all the time. I guess we're kinda close. Atsumu shrugged. How close? The idea of them being closer than him and Atsumu made him stomach twist. What was wrong with him? Or, are you jealous, Omi? Atsumu grinned, ears flickering and tail swaying in a pleased manner. No. He's not sure. It's all right. Atsumu swung an arm around Sakusa's shoulders and pulled him into a side hug. You're my number one, yeah? He put up a finger to show him. Sakusa felt his chest warm at the words, turning his chin up to respond. He doesn't expect Atsumu to already to be looking down at him. Grin on his lips. Sakusa's heart skips a beat at how close they are, noses bumping. Atsumu's arm around him tenses in surprise, looking down at him with wide eyes. Sorry. Sakusa follows when he goes to pull away, fingers curling around his jaw. It's barely their kiss, a faint press of lips, but Sakusa feels something click in place. Miya? The boy is frozen in place, cheeks red, but Sakusa pushes past the chilling anxiety. I think I like you. You think? Atsumu chokes out, looking like he wants to laugh a little. Yes, I can't be sure, since I've never liked someone before, but I think I do. Sakusa swallowed nervously, reaching up to touch Atsumu's ear. It flinched and flapped before stilling his touch. A soft purr rumbled in Atsumu's chest. He smacked a hand over his mouth, eyes wide. That was weird. Do you like me, Miya? Sakusa asked softly, not stopping his scratches. I definitely don't dislike you. I mean, You never seemed interested in that kind of stuff, so I didn't want to get my hopes up thinking about it. Miaya, do you like me? Sakusa said, firmer this time. Atsumu flushed and turned his gaze away as he leant into the head scratches. I do. I'm glad. Sakusa felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Anxiety dissipating, silence reigned in the room, Atsumu's eyes sliding shut slowly at the attention. Can I kiss you, Miaya? Hell yeah. Atsumu grinned a little, leaning in for a soft kiss. Sakusa smiled against his lips and closed his eyes. Sakusa Kiyomi had never been so glad to have attended a youth training camp.